First YouTube video, 2014. I'm gonna start making these videos because I feel as if the voice of our generation needs to be heard. I'm not saying I'm the only one thinking like this or this and that or whatever. I'm not trying to uplift myself or any craziness. I'm just trying to be heard, because I feel like my generation doesn't care about the fate of the world, about the future of the world, about the future of our children, the future of their children. We care about the here and now. We care about where I'm gonna get this money from, and what bad bitch I'ma sleep with, or what nigga has this guap, or who has this nice car, or just craziness. We like to turn up all the time, 24/7. There's people turning up right now, and I feel like all this fixation on YOLO and I'm still young, I need to live my life and party, and it's gonna ruin the world. I'm not saying as soon as we get into power or as soon as this happens. I'm saying since we are the generation who are so fixated on money and fixated on don't fuck with me, I won't fuck with you, and all this craziness, what do you think is gonna happen when we get to a point where we have to make decisions for a whole country, or for a whole people, or for a whole continent? Now, I've only been alive 22 years. I've only remembered 20 years, maybe 19 years. But what I do remember is how bad this world is getting from when I was a baby to now. When I was young, there was gangs and there was drugs and all this stuff still, but the gangs had a code. They had a way of life, how to run the criminal organization pretty much, and they didn't touch women, they didn't touch children, like, you know, that kind of stuff. But now it's undiscriminate. They don't care who you are, even what species you are. I read this article where in Mexico they decapitated the dog, decapitated his owner, shot his kids, raped his wife, and then killed her. But instead of just letting that go, they put the dog's head on the man's body and strung the children up. How can you do that? How can you think of something so gruesome like that, that you actually do it, and you actually get it done, and you actually let it known to the rest of the people? Take Mexico for example, like I was talking about. Right above me, right there, Mexico. That country is cartel now. There's no real order in Mexico. The police aren't safe, the government isn't safe, the army isn't safe, people definitely aren't safe, because of these group of men that see fit to ignore the moral code of humanity, all for this dollar, this money, this bill. And I don't understand why Mexico can't do anything about it. There's only a few 100,000 of them. Mexico's full of millions of people. But then, if you sit back and think, why? Why has this happened? It's the government. Government has failed its people. Government does not think about its people anymore. Now, not all governments, because Norway is a really nice place. Norway is a really nice government. But the ones like ours and theirs, and Africa and Cuba and Colombia and Venezuela and Italy and Greece and Sudan, just everywhere. They don't think about their people. They don't think about, how am I going to feed, let's say, 35 million people? How am I going to feed all these people today? They think about, how am I going to maintain my power and make more money? They don't get into government to want to help, want to change, want to better their people. They get into government because they want their lives to be better than what it was before they got there. And they spend their entire lives planning and learning how to, when they do get into government, how to keep their power. And I fear that by the time we get there, we, the generation of social media, of turning up, of realists, of fighters, of everything, when we get to that point where we have to be in their shoes, we are going to ruin this world. Because we're not going to be afraid of war. We're not going to be the ones to say, oh, let's send a sanction over here because this guy is massacring all his people. We're just going to drop bombs. We're just going to put troops on the ground, shoot up everybody, and be done with the whole deal. And some may say that's better than this paperwork and this whole bureaucracy, and we need to send sanctions and talk to these people because they don't know better. They don't care. But if we just go and nuke everybody, what's that going to solve? That's just going to add hate in someone else who wants to nuke us because we nuke them or nuke their allies. And we need to realize that in order to make a better future for our kids so that they don't have to sell work or be a prostitute or rob people or be on welfare or struggle or work a 9-to-5 that only pays them $7.25 an hour, we have to change the way government is ran, the way government thinks. Because our generation is going to be there next. Regardless of what anyone says, we're going to have to be in their shoes here pretty soon. And if all we think about is money, we're going to rob our people, regardless of what anyone says. We have to realize that this world is flawed. That whatever we were doing in the 1900s does not work today. It does not work for the mind state that we have. And the government does not realize that at all. They don't realize that the people are not happy, and why my generation is all about fuck the government and fuck this country, and these people are terrorists, and these people are that, and the government lies to us, and all these conspiracies, and the government's behind all of them. They don't realize that what they're doing is breeding a whole different kind of person that's going to take over the world. Now I know this sounds like doomsday, blah blah blah, but think about it. The president of Equatorial Guyana has 4 summer homes, all over $1 million. His sons drive Lambos in Paris. They go to school in Paris. And his people are among the poorest in Africa. My country is the Bahamas. I was born in the Bahamas. I'm a U.S. citizen. My dad's Cuban, my mom's Jamaican. And as a Caribbean islander, I see that from the outside world, we're stuck. And the worst of all is that Haiti is so corrupt that the people suffer so much that they are poorer than Africa. Africans can go hunt and go get food and grow this and grow that. Haitians eat dirt cookies. If you don't believe me, go to LiveLink, search up Haiti, scroll down, and you'll see dirt cookies. Watch that video. They do not know anything other than Haiti being poor. And that goes for the rest of the world. All these poor third world countries, they don't know anything else but them being poor and relying on others who do not truly care about the people. They only care about their connections to the government. In turn, they give the government money to help, but that lines the pockets of the government, and he divvies it out to his cronies, and then that little piece of cent down there, they do a little something so that the rest of the world can see, like, oh yay, they're changing. Nothing has changed. And once we get into power and we still have that mind state of we need to make money, we need to get this, we need to get that, money, 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 it's going to be a lot worse. We need to stop trying to blame others and blame the government and blame one person and try to work with the government for our future. Because groups like ISIS were born out of government's failures and out of hatred, and that's going to become more and more common because more and more governments are going to begin to fail when the next generation and the next generation steps up. If we continue to try to follow the guidelines of doctrines made in the 1800s, 1900s that don't really work anymore, we need to pressure ourselves to try to make a difference in this world. Because yes, we are struggling, yes, we're in a recession, yes, some people are poor, some people are homeless, but there are whole countries living worse than our homeless live here, and no one's doing anything about it. We need to realize that we are the generation of change, of the generation of realists, the generation of making a better tomorrow. We need to take our minds to a different level, to a different understanding than what just the government wants you to learn and what they just want you to understand and hear. Because if we stay on the path that they put for us, it's just going to be a straight shot the same way it's been the last 100, 200 years. We need to divert and make our own path and eclipse what they think is possible. Because our generation is a lot smarter than what we think and what a lot of the other people think. We can do so much in this world. We just have to open our brains and realize that it's not all about money. It's not all about this and that and who has the money and which nigga has this and which nigga has that. It's about building a better tomorrow for our children and our children's children, and ensuring that the rest of the world is not dying from hunger and thirst and genocides, and women aren't being raped and men aren't being sold into slavery. We need to realize that we have to be the change in this world. And once we realize that, there's nothing we can really not do. Once we realize that we can change and we can make things better, we're all going to be rich. And we're all going to be prosperous. I'd like to say God bless everybody. Christians, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Sunnis, Shiites, Zionists, Catholics, Protestants, everybody. I'm not biased, I'm not anything. But I believe that my videos are going to begin to open people's eyes. And once people's eyes are opened, their minds will open. And once their minds will open, their brains will shoot for something a lot higher. They used to ask us in kindergarten or first grade, what do you want to be in life? And I realized that a lot of people had huge dreams. Doctors, police chiefs, chief of firefighting, presidents, astronauts, generals, engineers. And it seems that because of what the world has thrown at us and what we have learned over the years, we have diverted from what we truly want to be in life to what is easy. Easy is good, but greatness is hard. And if we can be that generation of greatness, if we can be that generation of change and to make the world a better place, wouldn't, if the world was better, if the third world nations were no more, if they were second world nations, don't you think that we would be a lot richer? We would all live in mansions. Mansions wouldn't be a thing anymore. We would have to have castles and palaces. It's just a thought. More videos are to come. A lot more. More on topic. More on ISIS. More on Ebola. More on governments. More on ideas. More on change. Because I fear that if I do not say anything, I am doing injustice to our generation.